control living beings that had fled its home in neighboring Grendu and was terrorizing mountain villages. It should have been an easy mission. Nylak, Stesha's dragon, followed the Lich's scent and led us to its lair in a mountain cave. There were 6 of us, including the Dragon Master, myself, my brother Emmerich, my sister Mirel, Stesha's ward Zenevieve, and my best friend Anders. I was the eldest, and Mirel was the youngest at just 14. My father was against Mirel going because of her age and the fact that she was an Omega, but Mother wished her timid daughter to learn some self-confidence before she was mated. Father appealed to the Dragon Master, expecting him to forbid a weak and useless Omega from being in his hunting party. Stesha folded his arms and thought about this for a long time. It wasn't a comfortable place to be, trapped between the king and queen. He was going to disappoint one of them with his answer, and everyone knew it was dangerous to disappoint the king. To everyone's surprise, Stesha sided with the queen, stating that every dragon rider has the right and responsibility to make themselves useful to Maladin, including Omegas. So, Mirel came with us. Up on the wintry mountain, Mirel's face was white from terror as she and her dragon, Dianthe, stood at the mouth of the Lich's lair. None of the bigger dragons could enter the long, narrow cave to help their riders search for the Lich's phylactery, the magic vessel that held the evil mage's soul, tethered to this earth. Stesha stood with his arms folded and his brows drawn tightly together as Mirel and Dianthe slowly and cautiously moved into the cave. Anders darted forward. "I'll go with you, Mirel." Stesha put out a hand and held him back. "She's an Omega, not a snowball on a summer's day. Stay where you are." As my sister and her dragon disappeared into the darkness, Emmerich called after them. "Be careful not to touch anything. You never know when might rip your soul painfully from your body in a Lich's lair." Mirel's whimper echoed back to us, but she and Dianthe kept moving. The tip of Dianthe's tail disappeared, and then there was silence from within the tunnel. Anders paced back and forth, and it was only the fact that Stesha was bigger and stronger than he was that prevented him from running after his mate. I was feeling uneasy that my sister was in a Lich's lair. She had Dianthe to protect her, but still. What felt like an eon later, there were sounds in the tunnel, and then Mirel and Dianthe appeared, the dragon carrying something in her jaws. Mirel beamed at us, flushed with accomplishment. "The cavern at the end was big enough for Dianthe to turn around in, and look what we found!" The dragon carefully laid the object onto the snow, and we all clustered around to look at it. The phylactery resembled a silver lantern with greenish flames flickering within. Stesha glanced at Mirel. It must be destroyed. Will you and Dianthe do the honors?" My sister turned toward her dragon and spoke with her silently. The dragon focused on the object, and a rumbling emanated from deep within her chest. She opened her jaws, and we all jumped back as a stream of yellow dragon fire shot toward the phylactery, completely engulfing it. Snow melted away in a 10-foot radius. We felt the scorching heat of the fire and heard something unnatural, shrieking in anger and pain. Dianthe closed her jaws, but the fire burned on for several more minutes. When it died down, Stesha crouched and carefully inspected the melted and twisted object. There wasn't a flicker of green left. The phylactery was blackened and empty. He got to his feet and nodded sharply at Mirel. "Good." An avalanche of praise from the Dragon Master. Mirel was so relieved and happy it was all over that she hugged her dragon's slender neck and nearly burst into tears. Emmerich opened his mouth to say something snide, but Anders elbowed him in the stomach. My brother bent double, gasping for breath, while Anders wrapped Mirel tightly in his arms with a huge smile on his face. Anders and Mirel were a fated pair, something they'd known for just a handful of weeks at that time. Seeing Anders with my sister was strange. My goofy, reckless friend seemed to change overnight. He wasn't just an alpha anymore. He was Mirel's alpha. Everything he did now, he thought about her first. He might not say her name, but I could always see my sister reflected in...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.